So hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sanskar, and in this video we are going to learn how to integrate Razorpay payment gateway to our Flutter app. So let me show you the demo of the app or how the payment gateway works and what are the different options they provide. So first I have a sample app over here where I'm accepting the amount from the user. For a product or an e-commerce app, you can provide this amount um, when the user clicks on it, and you can make it fixed or something like that. So the first thing it will ask is the phone number. I'm going to provide it an example phone number. So let me, okay, and then I'll provide a email ID. Then I will click on proceed. So as you can see, there are multiple options available. We have card, we have net banking, we have wallet, and we have UPI. So this is the best part about integrating Razorpay. The first part is it's really easy to integrate. At the same time, it provides a lot of options. So as you can see, we have UPI option available. So if the user wants, he can pay through the UPI ID he have, or he can use different wallets available. He may have some balance on MobiKwik or maybe on Freecharge, Airtel Money, Geo Money, Paytm, or PayZapp. There are other options like net banking and card, which are most used or something. But yeah, so overall, we can provide a large amount of options for the user to pay, and at the same time making sure as a developer we don't have to do or integrate all of these separately. So first, to show you the whole payment process, I will submit a testing card number and a random month and over year over here, and card holder name and CB2B123, and then I'll click on pay now. So you can click on skip saving card, and now this is actually a testing API. So that's why it will show me this pop-up that what do you want this to be? Do you want this to be success or failure? So I'll click on success, and that it will show me the payment successful. So overall, you can see there are multiple options available with this Razorpay payment gateway. You can pay through UPI, you can pay through different uh, wallets available, and also the other options like net banking and debit card and credit card. So now let's see how we can integrate it in our Flutter app. So to make it very easy for you to understand, I have created this new project, and I'm going to get rid of all of the unwanted comments, and I'm going to create another stateless or stateful widget for the home class. So I'm going to get rid of that my home page as well. Inside the lib folder, I'm going to create a new folder or package in Android Studio, which is going to be called views, not video. Inside of that, I'm going to create a new Dart file, and that Dart file is going to be called home.dart. And the first thing which we will do over here is we will import material. The reason why we are importing material is we are using stateful and state widgets, so that's why I'm going to say stateful. This is the shortcut. You just have to write stful and it will create a new stateful widget for you. It works both on Android Studio as well as if you're using VS Code as well. Okay, then I will name this as home. Now, since my homepage does not exist anymore, I'm going to call home stateful widget in the home section of my material app, and I need to import this. So you can import this by clicking on this bulb icon, and just it will be imported. Okay, so the next step is we want this kind of very simple UI. So the first thing is this is a material UI including of app bar, and we have buttons and other. So that's why we will be using a scaffold. Scaffold provides us all these material components out of the box, so we don't have to create them from scratch. So as you can see, we have app bar option, which is this top section. We can say app bar, and inside of that we can provide the title. So title is nothing but this Razorpay which I have said. So let me change it a little bit to something. We will be providing that by text. So now over here I can say razor, sorry, razor 8 tutorial, something like that. Okay, just so that you know, tutorial. Okay, I don't know the spelling. That's good. Anyways, tutorial. Okay, I think that's fine. Anyways, we will move on to the body section of this now. And in the body section, as you can see, we just have two widgets. Now, if you don't have a lot of experience with Flutter, how Flutter works is we have different widgets. Everything is a widget over here. If we talk about this app bar, it is a widget. If we talk about this button, it is a widget. If we talk about this text, it's a widget. So over here, as we can see, these two things, the thing which is accepting the text, which is called text field, and this button is actually aligned vertically. So that's why we will be using a column. So inside the column, I can say children, because column accepts multiple children and it aligns them in a vertical manner. So the first thing which I want to provide this is a text field. So I'll say text field field, and inside this is very easy. Like, you don't have to provide even any other option, and it will be able to accept the user input. But obviously we want to use the user input and other stuff, so we will do that. But for now, let me do the next thing, which is I'm using a sized box. The reason why I'm using a sized box is because I want a little bit of a vertical spacing. Now, to use this vertical spacing through the sized box, we will provide height to it. Now, if there was a case in which we are using this for the horizontal, then we will have used width. So for the height, I'm going to go for something like 12. I think it may be a little bit more, but we can go with this now. So for the button, I'm going to use a raised button. Now, raised button have two very important things. The first one is called the child. So the child can be the text which is written over here. As you can see, this is pay now. So I can say something like donate now, because most of the time, if you're creating an app where you are accepting the user to pay for it, then in most cases it is a donation. We don't want our normal products to be something which user can decide the price of, right? So then we have this on pressed button, or basically on pressed option in this raised button widget. Now, in the on pressed, what basically happens is whenever the user or someone clicks on this, we can perform some action, we can perform something in the background, and we can get and fetch results and stuff. So what do we actually want is, when someone will click on this, we want the user to send him to the Razorpay payment gateway. So how are we going to do that? So the first thing for using the Razorpay payment gateway is we have to visit pub.dev. Okay, let me close this. We have to visit this website called pub.dev, and we have to use this particular package. There are a lot of different packages for Razorpay, which you may get a little bit misguided, because you can see we have Razorpay, Flutter, Razorpay, and a lot of them. Okay, so I will recommend to go with this Razorpay Flutter one, because this is the official one by the team at Razorpay. Okay, so you have to I'll provide the link in the description, so you don't have to worry about it. Now this is it how we want. So first we will click on installing, we will copy this one, then we will paste it over here. Okay, make sure it's in align with this, because if you will have any space here, it will cause an error. So just have it like that and click on packages again. Once you will do that, it will take some seconds, maybe 4 5 something like that, and it will show an exit code of 0. So you can see it took 3.1 second, and it should show the exit code to be 0. Once that is done, then the package has been successfully imported. Now you can use it. So the first thing to use that package is we have to go inside the home state over here, and we have to define the Razorpay option. So I'll say Razorpay. Okay, so how this works is, there are two things which we need to do. First, inside the init state, basically when the app load, or the screen, or this particular home screen loads, we want to provide some events. So basically we want to handle the event of the payment success, we want to handle the event of the payment error, and we want to handle if there was an external wallet selected. So for all of these events, we can create a custom function which we can call when any of these events happen. Okay, and these are going to be defined inside the init state. So let's do that first. So we will say init state. Now what is init state? Basically init state is a function which gets called when the screen, or this particular stateful widget of home, get loads on the screen. Okay, so what we want to do over here, we will say Razorpay dot, first we actually will say Razorpay is equals to new Razorpay, just to make sure it's not like that. And then what we will do, we will say Razorpay dot on. Okay, now you can see when we click on dot on, it have two things. The first thing which we need to provide is a string for the event, what kind of event it is, and then we want to provide the function for handling that particular event. Basically handle it's don't take it any complicated. It's really easy. The function, basically it is going to be a function which is going to handle what we want to do when any kind of event happens. Now for the string, you don't have to define something from your own. Razorpay already have that, so you just have to say Razorpay, and you can see we have these multiple events. So the first one we will select is Razorpay dot event payment success. In this one, we can provide a handler payment success. What is this? This is the name of the function which we are going to create later on. Okay, so now the second thing is defining the other event. So we are going to say on, then we will say Razorpay event, and the second one which I will select is the error. And over here I will say error. Hopefully the spelling is right. Error handler. Okay, failure. Then the next thing which, or the next event which we want to handle is the Razorpay dot on Razorpay dot external wallet. Over here I can name the handler to be external wallet. Okay, sorry for the spelling errors and stuff, but yeah. Okay, so we have successfully defined these. Now the thing is, if we are, you know, using these events and initiating them when the app loads in the init state, we should remove or close these when the screen or the widget disposes. So how we can do that? We can basically say Razorpay dot close, or actually clear. Sorry for that. So yeah, we have defined them in the init state and then we disposes them as well. Now the most important part right now is we have to actually create functions for these events. So let's go ahead and create these functions. The reason I'm saying void over here, so if you don't know, there are different kind of functions. To define a function, first you mention what it's going to return. So in some cases you can just not mention it and it will be predefined kind of that it's going to be a void. But if you want your function to do something or return something, in that case you can define it here. So I'm defining a function which is going to be called handle payment success. Okay, this is the name of the function, and I'm mentioning void because it's not going to return anything. It's going to do something but it's not going to return anything. And this is how we define a function. We have these arguments. You may or may not be accepting it, but you have to use these brackets, and then you will using this curly bracket to define whatever you want to do. Okay, over here we will say so basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to just simply show a toast. We can use a snack bar, but I feel toast will be a better option, maybe just a quick one, you know. So we can use a toast. So you can just search toast over here, and hopefully this is the best one, I'm not sure. um, okay, I feel this is good enough, it works. Okay, so you can use any one of those, and you can even use, I'm just making using this toast for making it quick. So we can say over here, and also you can do some custom things. For example, you want when it's successful, you want to show some kind of animation to the user. You may want to update some kind of data, something in your database. So all of that will be handled in this particular payment success function. Okay, so you can call that and it will be done for you. So for me, I'm just going to toast it that the payment is successful. It's taking a little bit of a time, so for now let me just do one thing quick. Let me just show a print for now. So I can say sorry, payment success, and I feel that's fine for now. I will add that toast. You can use other options as well, like for example you can show through the snack bar or something. So this is the next function which I created, and this is going to be the one for handling the error if any kind of error happens. So I can say error, and then I can go here and say void, and then I can say handle external wallet. Okay, so handle external wallet, print, and then we can say external wallet. Okay, so that's done as well. Okay, so we have successfully created all the different functions required for this. Let me just minimize this. The next step is actually creating the function which is going to provide all the different options which the payment gateway requires. So if when you saw the payment gateway, so for example, let me show you that again. If I click on this pay now option, there are multiple things which needs to be shown over there. So as you can see, we have this title or kind of name, how it's called, and this is the description. Okay, so this is very important to provide, and we will provide this through options, which is going to be a map which we will pass to actually open the Razorpay payment gateway. So we are providing the name, we are going to provide the description. We can also provide some pre-fill. So for example, if you have already saved the username sorry, user email and user phone number, you can also provide that as a pre-fill, so the user don't have to write it again. Also, we can mention what are the different external wallets we want. So for example, we will mention the Paytm as well. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So as I mentioned, we will be creating a function for that. So I'll go over here. Let me create it below the dispose. I'm going to say void again because it's a function which is not going to return anything. It will do something, but it's not going to return something. So we will create it again. It's not going to accept any arguments for now. We are going to create a variable which is options. It's basically a map. As you can see, I'm going to define it like this. So yeah. So what is the map? Map basically comprises of two things. First is the key and another is the value. So if you have used maybe our database kind of like, for example, Firestore and other works like similar way, you have a key and that key have a value. So over here we actually for using this Razorpay option and making sure Razorpay understands where to transfer this amount, we will be providing our key, right? Makes sense? Yeah. Also, we need to provide the amount. So where can we get that amount? So as for this particular app, we are actually accepting that amount from the user input. Okay, so if I will click on back, let me just close this one. So basically we are accepting that through the user input in our text field. So for getting the text from the text field, we have multiple options. You can use the on changed option in which we are updating the text as when the user is writing it out. But for this particular one, the best thing will be using a text editing controller, and we can say text editing controller is equals to new text editing controller. Okay, so through this we will be able to get what the user have submitted in the text field. So now I can provide that a controller, and that will be a text editing controller. And I can also mention some hint text through the decoration option, which is input decoration. I can mention the hint text to be enter the amount or amount, or however you want to mention that amount to pay, something like that. Okay, so we have a donate button and we have that. We also want to provide it as some color of some kind, so I can just say colors dot blue. I feel like that's going to be the original, or no, but yeah. So a little bit of styling will not hamper a lot, so I'm just going to say text style, and then I can provide the color to be white, colors and dot white. By the way, the source code will be in the description, so you don't have to worry about following me one by one. Just try to understand stuff, and once you're clear about how things works, then you just have to write it down and integrate it in your own app. Okay, so now we have the amount to pay option where user can input the amount, and we can get that through text editing controller. So what we can do is over here at the amount, I can just mention, just a second, I can mention text editing controller dot text. Okay, and then I can mention, so that's how we can get the text. For the key, we will be creating an account, signing up on the Razorpay. I'll show you how to do that as well. So now this is the amount. The next thing is the name. So name can be the company name or however you want to, whatever you want to show on that particular page. I'm just going to say sample app for now, and then we have to provide the description. So I can say description, and then I'll say you or something like payment for the apparels. I don't know the spelling. Payment for some random product. Okay, whatever you want that description to be. And then we can provide a pre-fill. So what is pre-fill is basically, as you can see, when I demonstrated the app, there was two options, right? User have to submit his contact phone number and also the email ID. So rather than him submitting that, if you already have that saved or submitted from the user before, you can pass that values. So how you can do that? You can define a key which is called contact. Yeah, that's fine. And then we can define that. So right now I'm not going to provide anything because I'm not accepting that before, but if you want you can it, and it's also a good user experience. Definitely if you already have those details, it makes sense to just pass them up and make the thing easier for the user. Less friction, more money. That's how it works. So external, and This is for providing the external payment gateways. So I'm going to mention Paytm over here. So we have to use a comma. Okay, it's fine. And I'm going to mention wallets, and the wallet which I'm going to mention over here is Paytm. So I'll say Paytm. Okay, so this is the function, and these are the options which we are going to pass. And now the next thing is we want to open up the payment gateway. So we have created all the options, created a map out of it. So now the next thing is passing this map and opening up the payment gateway of Razorpay. Now we want to make sure we don't crash the app if any kind of error happens. So I'm using a try catch for that, and let's accept the error. And for now, let me just debug that, or I can print it out, or I can debug that however I want. Let me just do the print for now, e.toString, so that I can understand what is the error or the problem we are facing. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Okay, that's fine. So what do we want to try? Well, as I mentioned, it's really easy to integrate. What do we want to do? We want to open up the payment gateway. So we'll say razorpay.open, and as you can see, it accepts the map. So I'm going to provide options here and just a semicolon, and that's all we have to do. Now, the very important thing is we want to call this function when we click on that button, right? So I'm going to use this over here and like that, and done. Okay, so let me check this out. Now we need the key, where it's really important. So you need to just visit on this website. Let me show you. As mentioned before, the link will be in the description or in the GitHub repository. I will directly link the GitHub repository, and I will mention both of these links over there. Make sure to give it a star or something, just if you like. So yeah, that was my another email ID. We can sign up with another email. So once you will successfully sign up for this, then you can click on try out the dashboard, click on generate test keys. So we are going to right now just create test keys. So I'm going to click on generate test key. It's going to provide me a key ID, and click on OK, and click on OK. Okay, then you just have to provide that key over here. I'm going to paste that. Obviously, when you're going to complete this for an actual production, then you just have to change the mode, get the live key, just activate your account by following the step-by-step process for that. And yeah, so for now, just for testing, we are going to use this particular key. Okay, so then we can actually provide the phone number and email ID. I'm just going to provide something so that I don't have to type it out again and again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, so just making sure that Indian guidelines one. So 10 digit number and an email ID, so that's it. Okay, so we have this perfectly working fine, and hopefully it should work. So let's run it and see if it works. So it's going to take a second or so, but basically what would happen is if we go to the transaction side, we should be able to see all the payments over here. So let's see if it runs. Let me open this up. We can actually minimize this for a second. So as we can see, it's showing some error, and if I will go down, I can see, okay, so the it is mentioning that the minimum SDK should be more than 16. So you just have to go to the project, then go inside the Android section, and then inside the app, then build.gradle. So make sure you are inside the app level build.gradle, not the project level build.gradle, which will be available over here. So what you have to do, you just have to increase this to something more than 19. I'm going to go for 21. You can go with exact 19, and that should work perfectly fine. So now let's restart the app and let's see what happens. Okay, so it's finally running. It also caused one error, and which was like for the size. And to solve that, you just have to click on the tools, then click on Flutter, and then click on Flutter clean. So once you will clean that, and then you will restart the app again, it should work perfectly fine. Okay, so just a little bit tweak which I want to do, like just want to provide it as some kind of padding and stuff. So I'm just gonna click on padding, and maybe 40 will be fine, just for the quick, so that we can have a little bit space. Okay, so now we are going to test. So let me enter a random amount. I can say around 300 and click on donate now. So once I will click on that, it's going to call this open checkout function. This open checkout function is first assigning all the options to our map and then passing that map to the Razorpay. And it's going to try to open that. If it's successful, then it will open, or if it's not successful, causing some error, then it will be shown over here. So these are the things which we are passing. We are passing the key, we are passing the amount, okay, and then we are passing the name, which is the sample app, which will be visible over here. I believe the internet speed is a little bit slow maybe, but yeah. So then there is a description, then these are the pre-filled, so basically we don't have to enter these details, they will be pre-entered for us. Then we have also entered this external wallets option, so let's see how it works. So now as you can see, it's finally working successfully, and we have not shown the option to enter this amount of the number, phone number, and the email ID. It is already entered, and if the user want to add it, he can just click on this and he can add it. But the one thing which you can notice is this 3. We actually entered 300, but we can only see 3 over here. The reason for that is it allows you to give an option of an amount, which is for understanding, you can say it like, multiply by 100. So you can actually give an option of the payment amount to be 300.46 point something like that, right? Okay, so in passes and something like that. So that's why what we have to do over here is first we will convert this to number. So let me take this text, convert this to a number. How can we do that? We will just say num dot parse, okay, and then we will parse this value. Second thing which we want to do, we want to multiply that value with 100. Why? Because it have 0.00 already with it. So for example, if you are providing a value of 400, it will take it as 4.00. If you provide a value of 369, it will take it as 3.69. So if you want that to be a full number, then just multiply that by 100. So that's what we are going to obtain. So as you can see, we click, the user can actually change these things, but let's proceed with the same. So if I will click on the proceed button now, let's see what happens. Click on card. So it will first look for the card if they have a card with the same number, and then it will show us this card option. So I'm just going to enter the test card number, which is going to be 4111111, and as much as we can enter. And then we have to enter the expiry. So just let's say for 11, and then we can go for something like 22. We can enter the card holder name, you can enter something random string, and then just enter the CV to be 123. Click on pay 3 rupees. Obviously this should be updated when we will kind of run it with this thing updated. But anyways, we are going to click on skip saving card for now. And now since this is a test API key, it will show us an option that do you want this payment to be a success or do you want this to be a failure. So I can click on this pay $3, and it will show me this your payment is being processed. And let me open up my dashboard, the Razorpay dashboard. The payment is ongoing. Are you sure you want to cancel the payment? Okay, I should click on cancel, right? Sorry, actually I believe it's running quite slowly, so just give me a second. So as you can see, once the payment is going to be successful, because this is a demo or a test mode which we are using right now, so it will show us this option, so I can make it a success. So if I will click on success, that function which we created initially, this one, handler payment success, will be called, and we will be able to see that print, hopefully. I'm not sure if that printed, but it should. So let me copy that and search for it. So this is also causing some code capacity problems, cache code, which we need to do some stuff, dumping 15k, 50k. So let's try once again, and this time what we are going to do, we are going to use that Flutter toast as well. So I'm going to say Flutter toast. Sorry, that was a different one which I used, I believe. Okay, so we can use a toast, and we can say toast dot show, and we can provide the message. So the message is going to be the same, payment success. Copy, paste it, and use it like that. copy, paste, copy, paste. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to run the app again. Okay, so as we can see, the app is running, restarted successfully. Now let's try the amount to pay again. So I'm going to enter this time something like 450, and I'm going to click on donate now. And as you can see, we have this description, we have the name of the app, we have the contact and email ID, and this time the amount is also correct since we have changed that to a number, and then we multiply that with 100. Okay, so now let's try which one should we go for. So let's go for the card option. Okay, so after the completion or the successful payment, we can see this pop up of do you want this to be success or do you want this to be failure. So I'm going to click on success. Okay, so the payment was successful. So that's how you include Razorpay payment gateway integration in your Flutter app. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you face any problem in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the